So, gentlemen, I have a story. Kick things off right out of the gate the second Sin gets in here. As I am one to do on a podcast recording day, I was walking my dog. That way I could justify sitting in a chair for 2 hours without feeling bad about myself. I live in a neighborhood that is U-shaped, essentially. We get to the bottom of the U, start to walk towards the other side, the other street next to us.
Did you crank that Soldier Boy?
You.
There is a man parked in the middle of the road, standing outside of his car with his German Shepherd on a leash, talking to someone from that person's front yard. Beyonce and I say, okay, let's turn around. Just go back the way we came. Kermit Family Guy meme. That one's for Sin.
Yes.
We go back the way we came from, and all of a sudden, as we're about halfway back up the road towards our house, I see a dog in someone's yard, and I'm like, oh, well, cool. They have a dog, too. It looks like it's on a run. I see, like, a line next to them. I look back over my shoulder after a few steps, and this dog is in full sprint towards us and my dog. Now, of course, I have to take the defensive stance of shielding the future wife and puppers from this dog because you never know. How aggressive are they going to be? The most delightful dog we've ever run into. The most high energy. It was about a little bit bigger than Emmy, but the most high energy dog who's like, oh, we get to play? We're playing. And this dog follows us about 100 to 200 feet up the road.
Oh, boy.
And as we're getting closer to our house, we're just like, well, what if this dog takes off and makes a break for, like, the main road? We'd feel fucking terrible. Worth noting, the owner of this dog was in his yard, but he was using some fucking machinery in his garden to bore holes. I can't think of the fucking term. So he wouldn't have been able to hear shit. So eventually, I MacGyver, not really MacGyver, I take off my belt to use it as a leash to walk this dog back home.
Oh, man. When you said took off my belt, I'm like, oh, boy, where's this going? But,
stop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had an on-the-fly dog play date. And here I thought I was going to be late to this recording. Decided to sprint. You know, the main point of this story is if you've ever had to sprint out of nowhere, you're just having a nice relaxing walk, and then the next thing you know, you're having to go full sprint. I don't know about you, but it reminds me of how out of shape I am. So how are you two?
I'm doing pretty good. It was good to get some sleep last night after staying up way too late the night before, figuring out how to cleanly make something 9:16 from widescreen. Fucking TikTok.
The life of an editor.
And then, then of course, we had to be up early as fook. Well, not early if you go to sleep at like 1 or 2 a.m.
Can't
So,
relate.
yeah.
I went to bed at 6 in the morning.
Well, I had to be up early for the cast, and then
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, last night was a good night's sleep.
And then tonight we'll play Ishul, and you'll never sleep again.
Let's fucking go. I'm down.
Oh, shit. You guys going to play Ishul?
I didn't
Maybe,
get
I
to
don't
watch Torf, so I'm down.
There you go. Okay.
We
Had
did
to watch you fuck up a draft so hard.
Oh, my God.
I wasn't obviously in chat, but just watching that and you're just pure dejection of getting straight C's when two generational talents appeared.
Yeah.
You know,
Not the first time that's happened either.
Sorry to bring that up, but
It's okay. That's fine. It's fine that my now unemployed scouting department said this guy was generational and should go number 1 overall, and he fell to us at 13 and then ended up being ass. No, it's fine. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
no
No
scouts in
copium
that
over
game
here.
seem like they suck, and it's not.
It's the
fun.
best, though. Like outside of like an NBA, like NBA's draft system, I don't really think is that good. NHL's draft system sucks.
Yeah.
MLB easily has the best one. The only one that comes close to it for me in terms of like the drama of the situation is Madden.
Yeah, like here's the thing about NHL's draft system. I do like it for kind of what it is, but also it's so easy. All you do is in the first, after about 4 years, you're going to have a scouting team that's all A's and a couple B's. And then I just find, I even limit myself to draft picks, like only 9 total, 3 in the first 2 rounds, but I'll still get pretty much, it's a common occurrence to get drafts of all people who are medium elite or like low elite. And it's just like, yeah, it just gets
too
easy.
You pretty much have to intentionally handicap yourself to avoid that situation.
Yeah.
I've done series like that in the past, like with Carolina, where it was like, okay, I'm only allowed 1 trade down, 1 trade up per draft. That type of thing. And then half the time with your picks, you're taking people way off the board anyway because you know they're better than who's already there.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with MLB's draft system now, if a team's scouting department says this guy is good, it doesn't matter. Like now, within a limit, right? Like it would be annoying to see the number 1 pick. Like it's a little bit different for baseball, but to see someone projected 48th go in the top 3 is not an uncommon occurrence in the show. NHL, you'd need to tinker a little bit because you wouldn't want, Connor McDavid to be selected 12th.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it's Connor McDavid, everyone's going to know it's Connor McDavid for the most part. I think I've only seen 1 generational talent slip out of the top 10, which can happen in real life. So, just one of those things. But yeah, MLB was an experience last night. We did hit home run number 100 with Torf, and then
so you did switch to Road to the Show eventually.
We did at the very end, yeah, for the last 45 minutes.
Probably already asleep. Home run, career home run 100, right? Not
career home run 100, yes.
Hey, fucking hell, I'd be pissed if I was missing that run.
And then and then in the same game, 101 was a grand slam. So
dope.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm playing a little Road to the Show on my own, and I was using dynamic difficulty, and I'm surprised. I'm up to Hall of Fame plus, and I've never played on that before. Like the highest I've ever played was like All-Star, but yeah, it's I need to get some of those joystick shit that you have because I cannot move my thumbstick slow. Like I react.
Right here.
Yeah, yes. I just react. I'm like, oh shit, that looks like it's going low right. And even if I try
on the stick,
even if I try to move it a little bit, it still moves down too far. And I'm just like, fuck. So my strategy right now is I don't swing at anything unless it looks like it's right down the fucking pipe. And it's kind of working. I'm still hitting 350. So.
I will recommend what I had used before those arrived were pipe cleaners. Literally a $1.99 bag of pipe cleaners from Walmart and just wrap the thing around the thumbstick. You have to adjust it a little bit more than you will with one of those precision rings or whatever. But
caulk rings, there you go.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, those are nice though. Those are nice. Then, I still have that tendency. Yeah, if it's a low pitch, you just slam down on the thumbstick because it's like, well, there's gonna be no nuance. It's just up, down, left, or right. And it's like, no, that's not how pitching works.
Like when I was on Veteran and All-Star, it's fine because if I slam down all the way, I'm still kind of within the range. But the second, now that I'm on like the Hall of Fame Plus or whatever, the second I get it, or even if like a really good pitcher comes in with good fucking. They used to call it makeup. I don't know if it's still called that, but like my PCI gets super small. I'm just like, shit.
So that's the difficulty with the game is on lower difficulties. Welcome to the MLB The Show podcast. On lower difficulties in the game, if you are aiming with the left stick, it will keep your aim within the batter's box. You can slam down on the thumbstick as far down as you want, but it still won't leave the strike zone because it's on that lower difficulty.
Yeah.
Which is great. But once you get to the higher difficulties, they take that assist off, and you have no way. Like you cannot edit that assist; it is locked to the difficulty. So you can't put it on Legend and then put that assist on, which would be great. Why can't you? I mean, come on, it's a video game. Let people have fun the way they want. And then, the higher difficulty you're on, the more pitcher stats affect your stuff, which also gets difficult because you'll go from one pitcher and you'll be like, oh, I wrecked him on that difficulty. And then the next one, it's like, oh, here's a Cy Young candidate. I can't hit shit. It's like, oh, yeah, wait, that's actually kind of accurate now, isn't it? So, difficulty that makes sense. EA NHL, it's your turn to figure that shit out.
Yeah. Oh, man. You say that, but when people find out that, EA has a patent for dynamic difficulty, they freak their whole lids out when MLB The Show was done it the exact same way, and their dynamic difficulty setting is more indicative to offline play than it is online, because people are still complaining like, oh, it means that like when I play against someone, their CPU is going to be better than mine. It's like, no, it just means that the CPUs in general will be harder to play against based on your level of play for offline modes. Yeah.
Let's keep talking about MLB The Show and my experience on dog walks, because otherwise we get to talk about the Boston fucking Bruins, and I really don't want to do that. But I suppose after 11 minutes of nonsense, we probably should.
Hey, we could talk about our epic conclusion to our XBS series.
Oh boy, but before that, we should probably get to our beautiful sponsors over at Manscaped. Use Manscaped for all your body hair trimming and cleanliness needs. Here comes me using words that kind of make sense. Use Manscaped for 20% off your order using promo code Tougie. That's TOUGIE. Lovely people over at Manscaped. They got us, with the ball toner, the lawnmower 4.0, the weed whacker, what's the one for like your beard supposed to be for? Like I can't use it because I barely grow any scruff. Kit? Yeah, exactly, that kit. And also my patented, lovely, refined spherical deodorant. It is a sphere, and it's great. Just got another case of it, actually, because it's so damn good. Manscaped, your balls will thank you, your pits will thank you, and we thank you again for sponsoring this lovely podcast.
I can't figure out why we don't have them do every ad read.
I know, we really should. I was sitting here and I was like, here I go, using words again right now the meaning, but it sounds nice, and I'm just trying to... It was like, Manscaped, your balls will thank you. Foyer. It's like, Endo, that's an open, that's an entrance area.
That is literally just my humor. It's like, oh great, Pomplamoose. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah.
It is, honestly, it is one of my favorite things, whether you do it intentionally or not. It's just using words that you think sound good for the occasion.
God, I remember one of my friends in high school got mad at me because instead of, hey, let's all meet at the meetup, I said, let's congregate. And they're like, fuck you, using big ass words. Shut up.
That's still me to this day. If I can't use the word fucking penultimate without one of you two giving me some bullshit.
I don't mind. Yeah, that's Endo. I don't mind you saying penultimate.
It's funny. I love it because it's like, it's just like the human thesaurus. I can't say that word properly because I have a fucking speech impediment, but you know what I mean.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, with that, God damn it. Is there anything else we could talk about aside from hockey? Because I'm so fucking mad about last night still. Can we talk more about... Well, no, I can't talk about MLB The Show because I don't think about franchise mode last night, getting bent over in the worst draft ever. All right, let's get to some viewer questions. Screw it. As always, you can get your questions in on the Tougies Cafe Discord. Of course, links in the description, no matter where you are watching or listening to the show. Our first question comes from Reds Rebels. Happy belated birthday, by the way. I saw that on the Discord and forgot to say anything because I'm a bad streamer. Thank you for sending in questions all the time, and happy belated birthday. It's not really a question, but it's, why did X player go to Y team in the NFL draft? Is the GM stupid? Basically, I included this question because the NFL draft is tonight, and I'm excited because I don't know what it is, but I like just watching drafts in general. I don't care if it's aside from the MLB draft, because like that, they always have 17 bajillion rounds. But NFL, NBA, NHL draft, if it's on, I'm watching it, guaranteed. And the NFL draft is tonight. Biggest news in the NFL today was that Lamar Jackson stuck around with the Ravens, so that's good for them. But yeah, I'm excited for the draft, especially too. There's, as usual, a lot of like, okay, who's the best quarterback? And you know a team's going to do something fucking stupid. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. That said, yeah, the NFL draft. There you go.
Yeah, Green Bay Packers draft a wide receiver challenge. Impossible.
Okay, well, I'm on Bleacher Report right now. Shout out to them. They need the free promotion. I want to see who they have Green Bay taking in round 1. 13th overall. Their projection: interior lineman Peter Skronkowski.
What a name.
Or Skoronsky, even. There we go. Northwestern. So, yep, you're right. Impossible. So, we'll see.
They don't even have receivers. I don't know what they're planning to do. Maybe they want to tank.
They have 3 picks inside the top 45. So, I mean, this could be a big, like, post-Rodgers setup draft for them, or they could just fucking blow it.
Yeah, we'll see.
With no in-between. From Racing J is, have you ever done new phone who dis to someone you didn't want to talk to?
I have an answer to this. It wasn't on purpose. I've never done it on purpose because I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
You can communicate like an adult. Here's the thing. Like, okay, this was months and months before, obviously before Finland, before I had a girlfriend. This one chick I met on a dating app, and kind of cool and shit. And I was at the time, like, when I'm just exploring, discovering, and waiting to get that certain feeling of wanting to actually commit to someone. And I'm always very clear about that. And I'm like, hey, I don't see this progressing past this certain point. And then, yeah, I make sure that they're on board with that. And if so, then we can continue to see each other, blah, blah, blah. So she was fine with it at first. And then eventually she was like, yeah, no, I kind of want more. I'm like, all right, well, it's not going to happen. Like, anyway, she just got this assumption that even though I said one thing, even though we communicated one thing, that it would eventually lead to that. And I'm like, okay, no. And then she fucking freaked out on me. She's like, well, you showed your 2 colors, never talk to me again. So I'm like, okay, I won't. That's your boundary. I respect that. Deleted her number and everything. A few months later, I get a text from someone. And it's her. And I deleted a number. I had no idea. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, who is this? And yeah, she was not happy about that. But I mean, you told me not to talk to you again, so.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, that's my new phone who dis moment, I guess. It wasn't on purpose, and I feel kind of bad, but also it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I can't top that. I don't think I have a new phone who dis experience.
Here,
yeah,
I have one that's
I'm like Sin, where it's just like, okay, no, like, I just don't want to talk to you. I just won't talk to you.
Yeah.
So I have one, and this is kind of on the same line as what Sin had happened to him, but it's different. So high school, I was in my fuckboy era, and I was just a piece of shit.
You left?
I was terrible. What?
You left your fuckboy era?
Yeah, I settled down. I mean, I was with someone for like fucking 5 years now, and you know, I'm having other plans eventually. But during the fuckboy era, I was with someone. They got a new phone, a new number, and it didn't tell me. So then I'm like, you know, I got my main piece and I got my side pieces. Like I got I got the chicken, then I got the potato salad as a side, then I got the coleslaw as a side.
I don't know if comparing women to foods is the best thing.
Because I love food and I love
you're
women.
my coleslaw.
Well, the one thing I didn't realize is that the coleslaw was actually the main rotisserie chicken. So basically, she got a new number, she didn't tell me, and then she started texting me from this new number, like, hey, who is this? Whatever, and I play along with it. And then I realized it was her, but it was too late, and then I got caught.
I mean, you at least rightfully labeled it as fuckboy era endo, because, yeah, that's fuckboy move.
I was a piece of shit back in high school. I was trying to figure out who the fuck I was. And then I think it was my grade 12, so like my senior year, I took an extra year after that, I got into a really weird relationship. And it was super weird because I thought she was great, thought she was fine, but then I realized that like people thought we were siblings. It was the reason why I say that is because we had the same skin complexion, so people literally thought I was dating my sister. And I'm like, I don't even know that she's cool, but she's not my sister, and it just felt weird. So then we broke up. There's other things behind it too. Like she left for France for like 2 months, like a week after we started going out. I'm like, we're not even this. What is this? Like you live 10 minutes from me, but now you fucking in France. Like who goes to France for 2 months?
I mean, I went to Europe for a month.
That's 1 month.
16, so.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. No, it just didn't work out.
Some people take trips. Some people, like while I was doing a band trip, we did a tour.
Damn, you sound like someone's living with privilege. Ooh.
I mean, both my parents were teachers. We weren't really rich, but yeah, music. It opened a lot of doors for me. Same way that YouTube has now.
Yeah. Moving on. From Craze, I'm sure you've talked about your favorite sports movies, but do you have a favorite motorsports related movie? I just watched Ford versus Ferrari earlier, thought it was great, so I was curious.
What other motorsports movies are there? I'm sure plenty. That was a good movie. I like that movie because Christian Bale's in it, and I love everything Christian Bale does.
Oh, good for you. How was it?
Beautiful.
That's my favorite thing he's ever done, and he was Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. Favorite motorsports related. I do
Mine
too.
is
but
Speed Racer.
You fucking.
Yeah, I'm going there. Speed Racer. Underrated. The fucking special effects in that movie. God. Chef's kiss.
My favorite motorsport related film.
30 Years of Gravedigger.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I fucking loved Monster Jam. Maybe because like my dad was like a big like guy who loved Monster Jam and a bunch of trucks and dirt and everything. Like the Speed Network was always on the fucking TV no matter what. Either Speed, Teletoon, YTV, or like CP24. That's all that was on the TV when I was younger. And I don't know why, but whenever Monster Jam came to Toronto, we always went. No matter what. Always got pictures with Gravedigger. Always got
Sounds
merch
like a
with
life of privilege.
Yeah, it is a life of privilege. It was privilege till he left. Then I lost my privilege. Gravedigger in the shop.
Your motorsport privilege with him.
Mm-hmm. Never touch Monster Jam ever again.
Fair enough.
Anyway, Tougie, what's yours?
Talladega Nights.
Oh fuck! Yeah, you know what? I'm changing mine to that. I always, I'm thinking of like a serious one. I'm like, yeah, I guess that is.
Yeah, I mean, for non-serious ones, like that is the one. I mean, like there have been like amazing documentaries. Like there was a Netflix documentary about Michael Schumacher a couple of years ago that was awesome, even though it's also horribly depressing.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's such a fucking funny movie, dude.
I mean, all we've seen, at least if you've watched the Kings games when they're at home, is, hey, look, Will Ferrell's here.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, all right, well, hey, he's been in, the spotlight lately, so it just makes you think of the run that he went on through the 2000s and the early 2010s. My goodness. Yeah, shout out to Talladega Nights. From AJ, I wasn't sure about this one, but hey, he sixth the landing. In honor of Tucker Carlson recently getting fired, fuck, marry, kill between the green, brown, and purple M&Ms.
I don't know who the purple and the brown one.
If you go on, the section on Discord, he left a picture.
I gotta open Discord.
So, oh god, this is. I'm gonna take this very seriously, but I want Endo to go first.
Okay. So the purple M&M is a new M&M. Mm-hmm. I think the purple one and the brown one are both new ones, and I looked up purple M&M, and the first thing it says, people always so ask, what's the deal with the purple M&M? And the quote is, according to M&M's parent company, Mars, purple is designed to represent acceptance and inclusivity. She is charming and quirky, wears trendy lace-up boots, and is known for her earnest self-sense, authenticity, and confidence. So she quirky. But she corked up and goated with the sauce. I don't know. We all know the green M&M. That's an easy F. Easy F. Easy.
He's thought about this before.
I don't like the way the brown one's looking at me, so I'm gonna kill that one. And I'm gonna marry the corked up one because she's probably weird, but I fuck with it.
I don't even see where the hell this goddamn picture is.
The podcast questions in the general talk section, podcast questions, and scroll down a little bit.
There you go. I tagged you with it.
So, for me, I think I agree with Endo. I think I do.
Fuck the green, marry the purple.
Kill the brown M&M. She looks judgmental.
The brown one.
Yeah, she does look judgmental.
Yeah,
I don't like that. Where it's
her glasses are the exact type of frame my ex wore too. So I don't want. Let's not go down that road.
But like with the green M&M, like you're gonna get some sass. That's gonna be a fun time. But long term, is that gonna last?
Especially when you. Never mind.
Go on.
I don't want people to know my kinks right now. Not here.
What is going on?
Oh, God. So fuck Tucker Carlson and fuck the green M&M.
Marry Don Lemon.
What the fuck?
Moving on.
Yes, please.
Oh, goodness. From Ender. Do you have a favorite defensive play or hit? Doesn't have to be NHL. Can be any league or highlight.
Butt fumble.
So, I mean, what was that?
Butt fumble.
That's a good one. For me, I think it was it Mike Van Ryn that Lucic put through the glass at TD Garden? Yeah, I think it was. That's the highlight of all highlights. Even though on that hit, people fucking Zapruder filmed it. It's like, well, actually, if you zoom in and you look closely, it wasn't the body contact that broke the glass, but Lucic's stick or Van Ryn's stick hit the glass at the top, and then that combined with the force of the check and the black helicopters, that's what broke the glass.
and
I'm like,
the power
I'm
of the
just
track
cool.
force.
Glass go boom. Like that's all I care about.
Oh,
or maybe
no,
Torrey Krug's hit on Braden Shen in the 2019 Cup final, because Blues fans got big mad about that, calling it dirty, and it's like, oh, you would know, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they headshot their way to the fucking finals.
They headshotted their way to a championship. Good on them.
Yeah.
But let's be honest about how they did it, all right? I'm honest about how the Bruins did it in 2011. Let's be honest here. Sin, do you have an answer?
I don't know, man.
Oh, I got another one.
I liked the Erik Karlsson hit on that Kings player, even though he was suspended for it. I don't think it was a fucking dirty hit at all.
There was the time.
He had clean shoulder, and he got a fucking suspension.
There was the time that Shaq accidentally wiped out a photographer. He dove into the stands to avoid contact.
Oh, yeah.
That's another good all-time hit. Defensive play.
Defensive play.
My favorite defensive play is Patrick Stefan stopping himself from scoring on the other team's goal to set up a great goal down the other way. Best defensive play of all time, Patrick Stefan stopping an empty net goal and leading the charge the other way.
Chef's kiss.
I'm a Patrick Stefan truther. That's what really happened.
Yeah, I guess for the defensive play, it's got to be that 5-on-3 penalty kill in the playoffs where two Sharks players lost their fucking sticks or had them broken, and they still killed it off. Like, that is just a remarkable sequence.
My actual answer would be the playoff where Gregory Campbell broke his leg and stayed out on the ice for about another 45 seconds on a penalty kill. I think that was the 2013 final against Chicago. So, I mean, that's just like that. That's all-time hockey grit storytelling, basically. Do we have any? I'm trying to think of like a hit in the NFL. Or, I mean, defensive play in the NFL. Malcolm Butler's Super Bowl interception against Seattle. I mean, dude, it's been almost 10 years. How the fuck did they not hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch? Fucking Christ.
Yeah, so stupid.
It's right there.
Jesus Christ, Pete
You paid
Carroll.
the man to do that one thing respectively.
God, literally, you have the best player in the world for that specific spot, and you're just like, nah, watch this. Let
Broncos country. That's right.
Yeah. The man should have asked Madden.
Oh God, football. Speaking of football,
halfback dive.
Sin, you and I, we're gonna get to call some Madden esports this weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Still have no idea what's happening, how many games we're covering, or anything.
Yeah, we'll figure that out eventually. But yeah, sportsgamer.gg/Madden if you're on the European side of things. Win some football games. Do it.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
It is gonna be fun to watch. I'm gonna have a blast with it for sure.
You can imagine, like, it's just a bunch of Chell players who don't know what the fuck they're doing. And
basically.
Everyone just runs I formation, just go.
Goal line. Well, that seems nice from the 20-yard line. Look at how many players I have to protect my quarterback.
Start LT spinning into the fucking QB.
How many fake punts are we going to see?
Oh my God. So many.
You'll never see Madden look more like NFL Blitz than you will this weekend. So,
that's probably the best thing about like casual esports and casual play. It's that you see the weirdest shit ever. Like I don't play Madden. So whenever I play, I'm doing the most. I'll have like fake field goal kicks in like the second down and just do stupid shit just to fuck with people because they don't know what the hell to expect. And I'll still get my ass kicked like 58-4. Don't ask how I got 4, but I got 4.
I mean, it is technically possible. So.
Yeah.
With that, we'll move on to some actual hockey talk from there. Thank you all, as always, for your viewer questions. We'll save the best for last. Before actually we get to talking about the playoffs, though, two quick things. One, the NHL announced the return of the Global Series. As this fall, there will be games between the Red Wings, Wild, Sens, and the Stanley Cup champion Toronto Maple Leafs to take place in Sweden. So, hey.
Sweden?
Yeah, so that's pretty damn cool for people over there.
Best part about that? It'd still be cheaper to fly to fucking Sweden, catch both games, go to IKEA and get some Swedish meatballs, and then come back. Still cheaper. Still cheaper than watching a Leaf game at home.
Yeah. I always like the Global Series games.
You'd even go see a doctor there and get some dental work done. And you'll save even more money.
I was so tempted when I was going through stuff during the pandemic. I'm just like, do I fly to like fucking Finland to actually get medical care right now? USA. But I always liked the Global Series games. It was cool. The Bruins have done it quite a few times. They went to the Czech Republic not all that long ago. Actually, that might have been a decade ago at this point. Jesus Christ. But I always liked the Global Series games. I like that they actually count. They're not just exhibition games. Although I think the Australian games are exhibition, but still cool. They're going to Australia, they're going to Sweden, grow the game. And the Calgary Flames have announced that a deal has been struck for a new arena to replace the Saddle Dome. I mean, it's not like 100% finalized, but it's getting there. They need it, but holy shit, the city of Calgary, you are getting bent the fuck over for this. Jesus. Now, it's an event center project, so it includes the arena, parking, etc. It's going to cost $1.2 billion, with the city of Calgary covering 44% of it, and the province and CSE picking up the remaining 56%.
So what's wrong with the Saddle Dome? I don't understand this saga, and it's been going on for like a decade.
It's very old. Yeah,
like 60 years.
Why is it always the taxpayers who have to fucking pay for stadiums too? I don't.
Because fuck you.
That's why.
Communism.
Like, owners are. If you have enough money to buy a fucking sports team, like.
Yeah. So when it says CSE, that is the owner, Calgary Sports and Entertainment. So yeah, the city of Calgary covers 44% of the 1.2 billion, with the ownership group and it says the province picking up the remaining 56%. So
what's the split on that? That's what I want to know. The rest of the province of Alberta.
Very, very likely that the owners are paying well under 50% of the cost for this. Calgary Sports and Entertainment do cover the Flames, the Hitmen, the Stampeders, the Roughnecks, the Wranglers of the AHL, and they own the Saddle Dome. I do not believe it is public as to what this company is worth or anything like that. But yeah, given that it's not an individual owner, the chairman of this ownership group, he is a co-owner. He is worth an estimated $2.7 billion as of the end of last year. So,
yeah, but it's not all liquid assets. Who the fuck cares? Pick up your tab, bro. You fucking dragon.
Yeah, the Saddle Dome was built opened really in 1983. So, I mean, it's almost 40 years old. It's easy to forget. It flooded a decade ago.
Right.
There were major floods in Alberta in 2013, and the Saddle Dome especially, like, they had to redo like all of it essentially. Like they had massive damage. I'm trying to see if there was a financial amount listed for how much they had to pay to kind of get that arena back in working order, but the fact they've even got a decade out of that arena after the entire interior was essentially flooded is kind of insane. So, but yeah, I mean, hey, it's good. It's good to see for the reason that, like, hey, guess Calgary Flames is going to be staying, and it would suck like to see them move somewhere else because an arena deal couldn't be cut. It just also really, really sucks that the city of Calgary and its taxpayers are going to get fucked. But hey, that's professional sports in a nutshell. With that, let's start talking about some playoffs here, boys, and we will kick things off with the Devils and Rangers because holy hell, that series is now tied at 2 apiece. Tell me if you've heard this one before, NHL 23 connoisseurs. The home team has yet to win in this series. A 3-1 win in Game 4 for the Devils. 2-point night for Jonas Siegenthaler and Akira Schmid. 22 of 23 stopped. Endo.
Quickly to go back, turns out that it was roughly $400 million to repair the Saddle Dome after the flooding. $400 million. Back to
and the taxpayers paid $395 million. Probably.
Yep.
The biggest thing here, Game 5 tonight between Devils and Rangers. The biggest thing. Thank you for that number, by the way. I was intrigued. Devils looked dead in the water in those first 2 games. They really, really did. I don't know if anyone predicted them to come back the way that they have. No. Again, they were outscored 10-2 over the first 2 games and have outscored the Rangers 5-2 in the last 2, with Akira Schmid posting a .966 save percentage in those 2 games at MSG. Jesus Christ. Like, if they make it out of this first round, this guy goes down as a legend of New Jersey sports.
Yeah. He's out Shesterkin right now. That's the only way to put it. I didn't think anyone was going to outduel Shesterkin at any point. Like, they could, like the teams can beat the Rangers, but I don't think anyone could outduel Shesterkin. And honestly, Schmid's kind of doing it.
He, again, has a .966 in 2 games. Shesterkin has a .941. So, I mean, the goaltending has been absurd in that series, with the exception of Vitek Vanacek. Unfortunately,
wasn't he at like a 927?
Vanacek? Oh,
Yeah.
no. He was the one that allowed the 10 goals in 2 games.
Oh.
He has an 827.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah, Schmidt and Shesterkin have the highest save percentages for goaltenders that have started at least 2 games or more, with Jack Campbell in between them. We'll talk about Jack Campbell in a little bit, but yeah, kind of crazy. I mean, it's tough not to root for the Devils in this series for me. I don't mind the Rangers at all, but especially the idea of, man, they go down 2-0. Everyone's thinking like, yeah, this is probably going to be a sweep. And obviously you have Rangers fans talking about like, better luck next time, little brother. And now all of a sudden it's Rangers fans who are like, we can't fucking score. Fuck. So Game 5 tonight, I am pumped for. I plan on watching every second of this game for as long as it's competitive, which, I mean, if it continues, yeah, it's going to continue to be competitive. So let's go Devils. Let's go Devils. Devils. Toronto and Tampa.
Yay.
The Leafs have a 3-1 series lead after winning Game 4 5-4 in overtime, with the Tampa Bay Lightning blowing a certain lead. Endo, do you recall what that lead was?
It was 4-1.
The first time the Lightning have ever lost a playoff game where they had a 3-goal lead in the third period. That, of course, covering 30 years of Lightning hockey now. Calgary legend William Nylander, a 3-point night. Samsonov stopping 27 of 31. Vasilevsky 32 of 37. With Game 5 tonight in Toronto. Are they going to do it? That's the big question.
I don't think so.
No?
I think it's going to be 6. I think there's going to be so much overwhelming pressure in that building that they might get psyched out. I don't know. I just have that feeling. I'm going to be... oh, boy. My voice cracked there. I'm going to be generally in the area because the Toronto Marlies are starting their cup run for the Calder Cup in the AHL in the second round against the Utica Comets, the farm team of the Jersey Devils. So it's going to be really interesting to see that because I don't think they really plan to have both of these games in the exact same... They're basically less than a kilometer away from each other. Ricoh Coliseum and Scotiabank Arena. I was going to say Air Canada Center. To me, that's going to be insane, and downtown is going to be an absolute zoo if the Marlies win and the Leafs win. But generally speaking, I don't think they're going to take the win tonight. I think they're going to win in 6. If they win in 5, that's great. You get extra time to relax, calm down before you have to possibly play the Bruins and have that shit be an absolute fight because holy, we'll get to that later, but yeah.
I think they could win it in 5. And here's my reasoning. They played like absolute shit in games 3 and 4, and they still won. If they come back home and have a good game, I think it's smart of them to keep Bunting out of the lineup too. I know they haven't had good games, and like the argument is, man, even if you put Bunting back in, even if he's going to do stupid things, he does draw penalties. But they're keeping him out, and which is a bold move considering how they got outplayed in those last 2 games. But I think Keefe is kind of banking on that home ice and the boys being back home to actually have them have a good game, because it's kind of crazy how they've won the last 2 games, being really thoroughly outplayed in both of them.
Opposite to what normally happens with the Leafs, which is why this is so crazy. Like normally it's like, oh, cool. Yep. They went out there, they got the shit kicked out of them and they lost. Not this time.
Yeah. Here's my thing. If they lose this next game, I think they lose the series.
I mean,
like you have to go back home, or you have to go back on the road to where the Lightning are. If you lose this game, the Lightning are still going to be fucking hungry. They're going to have hope. And if they play the same way they played in game 3 and 4, how can the Leafs steal another one? I don't know. And then Game 7. We all know about Game 7s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to end up in a situation like the Boston Bruins have. Having to head back on the road for Game 6. We'll talk more about that soon.
Yeah, you don't want to give a team a breath of life when you're standing on their throat.
Mm-hmm.
So Leafs better have some fucking killer instinct.
Yeah. I mean, now is the time, right? And like you mentioned, Bunting, despite being eligible to play after his suspension, is going to be out of the lineup. Yeah. Which I get that they're like, well, we're winning, let's not change it. But at the same time, to Sin's point, you're winning, but you haven't played your best games. I agree with the idea of keeping Matthew Nyes in the lineup. That guy looks sick. He's going nowhere. But Sam Lafferty, Zach Aston Reese, I still am surprised you don't put Bunting in on the fourth line and say, well, shit, if things aren't working, at least we can bump up Bunting to one of the top 6 lines, or one of the top 2, into the top 6. And we know he can play there. Last night in the Bruins game, and this is all I'll say about it for the moment, Jim Montgomery was shuffling lines every couple of minutes. He was testing everything because that team did not fucking show up on time. Toronto-esque in a lot of ways. They just didn't show up on time. So he was shuffling everybody to just be like, okay, that combination's not working. Let's try this. Let's try that. I don't think you get the ability to shuffle the deck like that when it's like, okay, here's Zach Aston Reese playing with Austin Matthews. I think you'd much prefer, oh, cool, we have the ability to bump up Bunting. But we'll see. It could all work out for them tonight. Toronto could win their first series in 19 years and 7 days. 19 years and 7 days ago, they knocked out the Ottawa Senators in the opening round of the playoffs before losing to the Philadelphia Flyers in the second round. 19 years. And they could finally win another series. We'll see what happens tonight. I'm rooting for the Leafs. Very, very much rooting for the Leafs. Although, if Tampa wins tonight, I am rooting for Tampa the rest of the way for the memes.
Yeah.
Because if the Leafs blow this series, move them. Move them. Put Leafs fans out of their misery. Move the team to Phoenix. The Coyotes are already in Tempe. I want 2 teams in Arizona because Lord knows Toronto, you're done if you lose this series. So we'll see what happens. The Vegas Golden Knights are up 3-1 on the Winnipeg Jets after winning Game 4. 4-2, 2-point nights for Brett Howden, Chandler Stevenson, Shea Theodore, Brossois stopping 24 of 26. On the other side for the Jets, Pionk and Wheeler both with 2-point nights. Hellebuck stopped 26 of 29. Game 5 is tonight. The Jets could get Nick Ehlers for the first time in this series, but it does have the feeling of being too little too late. There was the big comeback effort for the Jets where they ended up losing in double overtime. And yeah, that was pretty much it for the series. Like once you lose that, it's like that was your chance to really get a bunch of momentum to carry through. And they just haven't been able to do it. I'd be shocked if this goes 6. I think Vegas wins it tonight on home ice.
Yeah, I had hoped for the Jets to pull off something fun, but yeah, Vegas, whatever.
Yeah. I can't wait to see Jesse Pollock take a lick of that placemat at TSN. I've been there, and that thing is disgusting. That mat is disgusting. So good luck to him.
I would never take a bet like that where it's like, do something that's hazardous to your health. Like, am I wrong? Like, I'd rather get a tattoo that says Jets 2023 champions than lick a fucking floor mat or whatever the fuck.
I mean,
maybe that's just me.
The tattoo's more permanent than your taste buds. You can always just burn those taste buds.
You don't know, man. You could pick something up from that fucking floor mat. You never know. You never
fair enough.
No, I don't fuck around with germs like that. Shit's dangerous. Give me a tattoo. Put needles in my skin. The Colorado Avalanche are not winning their series. They are trailing 3-2 to the Seattle Kraken. The Kraken winning game 4, 3-2 in overtime, a game in which Seattle blew a 2-0 lead, only to win it in overtime. Jets take notes. A 2-point night for Daniel Sprong, 20 of 22 stop for Grubauer. Just 22 shots against Grubauer heading into overtime, which is nuts. And a 2-goal night for Mikko Rantanen. He had both Colorado goals. However, that was not the biggest talking point of this game. Biggest talking point was Cale Makar for a dirty hit. Like, maybe the dirtiest thing I've seen in the playoffs. A dirty, filthy hit on Jared McCann. Suspended for game 5. He will be back for game 6, but McCann is injured, according to Seattle coach Dave Haxtell. McCann will miss, or did miss, game 5 and could possibly be out for longer. And of course, the big controversy about this, the penalty was originally called a major, I believe, and then reduced to a minor in the game.
Crazy.
Yeah.
One of the worst officiating decisions we've seen this postseason, and boy, have there been a lot of terrible calls as expected.
Yeah, I don't know how you even reduce that. I think there only feels we don't want to have that big of an impact on the game. But what about the guy who just got fucking injured? Like, that's a big impact on the game. The opposing player had a big impact on the game. Do your jobs. It's a 5-minute major. Makar knows better than that. That's dirty as shit, and I lost a hell of a lot of respect for him in that play.
I don't see how he gets a game, but Bunting gets 3.
Yeah.
Like, I get that there's somewhat different instances, but at the same time, were they really that different? You know,
there's
Bunting
no direct head contact on the Makar play, and I think that's it. But still, it should have been, probably could have been easily 2 games for Makar if that's
no
the
direct
case.
head contact, but still an incredibly fucking dangerous hit.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. Like,
yeah,
and in my opinion, it's in one way. The one way it differs and maybe worse than the Bunting hit is it's not during live play, right? So the puck went up into the netting, and so afterwards, everyone that's the point where everyone's guard comes down, and Makar just, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking.
Dude, it was a Rafi Torres play, for fuck's sake. Like, from Cale Makar. Like, that is that type of, like, Bush League shit that Rafi Torres or Dan Carcillo would have done in their career, and it's from Cale Makar. Very disappointing. Very disappointing.
Yeah.
The Kraken did go on to win Game 5 last night by the score of 3-2. Grubauer stopping 26 of 28. So again, he has had a very strong series. Georgiev 26 of 29. Now, Nathan MacKinnon had a 2-point game, but there was also an incident before Seattle's second goal that made it 2-1. And I'm going to put this in air quotes, a no call that eventually led to Seattle scoring. And we'll talk about that specific goal afterwards. So McKinnon's along the boards. He cuts back, you know, a 180-degree change of direction. Player tries to stick with him. That player loses his footing. His skates get caught up with McKinnon. McKinnon goes down expecting a trip. He's shouting at the referee when he doesn't get it. He fucking slams his stick against the glass. While this is happening, Seattle go down the other way and score.
I don't know how they can rule that a trip.
I don't either. Like, to me, that was a completely like, unless you're going to sit there, like, unless you want to say, like, well, incidental or not, he still tripped him. Like, the guy lost his footing. I didn't see him stick his leg out to trip McKinnon. I don't understand. I can understand from Nathan McKinnon's viewpoint in that situation. He probably felt like, oh, that was a stick. He tripped me. But in watching the play, like, I'm sorry, I do not see at all how that could be called a trip.
Yeah, I'm watching it back. He turns, the guy falls backwards. Maybe his skate hits him, but it's not, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the play, and I know you are, I mean, again, I think it's Will Borgen that goes down. It's skate on skate. Like, I don't see how you could possibly expect that to be a trip. McKinnon, in that instance, though, is obviously thinking it was. The problem is, he is looking at the ref and complaining, while he's still on his knees, yet Matty Beniers is in front of him playing the puck. So McKinnon's already late to playing a puck and then stays behind the play yelling at the ref while the Kraken go down and score. I mean, I certainly understand the frustration, but at the same time, Jesus, that was a rough look for McKinnon, and I get it. There was apparently there was a weak slashing call on him. There was a no call, a different time, whatever. But I don't know.
That one, I don't think you can call.
No, I if that was called a trip against, like, I'm sorry, like, and you could be like, oh, in the moment you feel differently. If that was David Pasternak that went down instead of Nathan McKinnon, and I see the replay, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's still a trip. Like, no, it's not a trip. Like, that's just one of those things that happens. You know? At the end of the day, though, that goal that was scored was by Seattle forward Ty Cartier, who became the 8th player in NHL history to score a playoff goal in his debut. This guy has been the find of all finds for the Seattle Kraken. An undrafted player from the Sioux Greyhounds. Last year with the Greyhounds, 79 points in 63 games as an overager, 45 goals. Like, that's solid, but that's not insane. But they give him a chance on a contract. This year in the AHL with the Coachella Valley Firebirds, 57 points in 72 games, and was named AHL Rookie of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. At the very least, he was on the... Yeah, he did. He did win the Red Garrett Memorial Award. He was on the all-rookie team as well. And then comes up to the Kraken, gets a chance in the playoffs, scores a goal. Insane.
Pretty awesome.
And that just kind of sums up this feeling for the Kraken. They are now one win away from being just the second team ever to eliminate the reigning Stanley Cup champion in their first postseason appearance. The other was the 1926 Montreal Maroons.
Wow.
I mean, the Kraken, man, this is going to be amazing if they pull this off. And for the Avs, it just feels like everything is going wrong for them. The fatigue of making a cup run last year, which makes what Tampa's done over the last few years that much more insane. They are dealing with injuries. They are, of course, without Landeskog. Darren Helms only played a game in the playoffs. And then Valeri Nichushkin, after the first 2 games, due to personal reasons, is still away from the team. Head coach Jared Bednar mentioned that he is still in contact with Nichushkin, and he's not away for a legal situation. But beyond that, nothing else has been said, and that's perfectly fine because it's none of our fucking business.
What? Yeah, I don't even know what's been going on with us.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It just feels like everything is very much not going Colorado's way right now. I think Makar, you saw a big frustration play that cost the team. McKinnon in Game 5 itself, you saw a big frustration play that cost the team. And maybe it's just a matter of people being like, oh, the refs are fucking us. But regardless, yeah, Colorado's in big trouble. Game 6 is in Seattle. That building is going to be fucking electric. Very much looking forward to that, set of circumstances there too. But Colorado's in big trouble. We shall see what happens. We got a couple more series to cover here. Sorry, I got caught watching something on Twitter. NFL draft coming up. We talked about it. The New York Islanders staved off elimination. Carolina is now up 3-2 in that series after the Islanders won Game 5, 3-2. 2-point nights for Pierre Engvall and Brock Nelson, with Ilya Sorokin stopping 34 of 36. Finally, that type of performance we were waiting to see from him. While Antti Raanta on the other side stopped 19 of 22. Word from Rod Brindamore is that Frederik Andersen might get the start in Game 6. But yeah, I know that's a bit puzzling because you don't really look at Raanta as like the fault.
Yeah, but then I don't look at Andersen as like this stalwart veteran. I guess he does have more experience, than Raanta, but I don't feel like there's that much of a. It's not like the Lyon versus Bobrovsky conversation,
right? Islanders, man, hanging in there. I mean, pushing Carolina to 6 certainly didn't look like it was going to happen at a certain point. So I give them credit for hanging in there. And hey, you never know what will happen. I mean, Game 6 is back on Long Island. Easy for me to say. So we shall see what happens there. Unfortunately, I will say it is probably the least interesting series.
Yeah, I have not watched a fucking game of that.
Yeah.
It just didn't really interest me. I know Burnsy's there and stuff. I'm like, okay, he's getting points, but I don't know. Just I felt like the style of that game, I was just gonna hate to watch.
I have enjoyed the series, but in terms of like big talking points, it just can't compare to the other series that are ongoing right now.
Yeah. You know? I'm glad I made my decisions to keep up with the series I have been keeping up with.
There you go. Minnesota.
Soda!
And Dallas. The Stars now have a 3-2 series lead after winning Game 5 last night by the score of 4-0. Convincing win, a 3-point night for Rupe Hintz with a 27 save shutout for Ottinger. Philip Gustafson on the other side stopping 21 of 24. So
here comes Fleury.
Yeah.
I bet you they're going to put him in for the elimination game. I'm almost willing to fucking guarantee it.
Yeah.
It'd just be such a mistake.
Maybe, but I don't know. I think this kid, like Fleury, maybe he lost it at this point, but I have nightmares about that man.
Yeah, maybe he would deliver again in another clutch situation. Maybe, but I mean, Gustafson has been phenomenal all season long. Certainly not his fault that the team loses 4-0. He only allowed 3 goals. The biggest issue for the Minnesota Wild, through 5 games, forward Marcus Foligno has 35 penalty minutes, including 2 misconducts. Dallas has scored 4 power play goals on Foligno penalties alone.
Oof.
Fucking yikes. You want to talk about throwing? I mean, hey, it's one thing to be physical in the playoffs. It is another thing to have 2 misconducts in 5 games. That is impressive, frankly. For the Stars as well, a chance to close out the series in Game 6. Joe Pavelski will be a game-time decision for that particular game.
It's too early, dude. I don't care that it's the playoffs. It's way too early after that. NHL's still not taking concussion seriously.
You could maybe make an argument for Game 7, but yeah, I don't know. It would be kind of scary to see Joe Pavelski play after, a concussion that he suffered where he literally hit his head. He got hit in the head and then hit his head on the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to take that seriously. Like, that's... Well, you don't have to, I guess, if you're the NHL, because there are games to be won. But...
Yeah.
Edmonton and Los Angeles. The Oilers now up 3-2 after winning Game 5 by the score of 6-3. They finally didn't blow a lead. Good for you. With 2-point nights for Nick Bjugstad, who finally showed up. Ekholm, Nurse, and Connor McDavid. Stuart Skinner was back in after getting pulled the game before. Again, Jack Campbell stepped up and fucking dominated, but they went back to Skinner. He stopped 25 of 28, so a pretty good game, but a bit of a surprising move. On the other side, the levee finally broke for Jonas Korpisalo. He allowed 4 goals on 19 shots, was pulled for Phoenix Copley, who allowed 2 goals on 8 shots. The stat here, the Oilers have not lost a game in regulation for their past 20 games. The last time they lost in regulation was March 11th against the Maple Leafs. Since then, they have gone 17-0-3.
That's insane.
That's nuts.
It is, for sure. Oilers in 6, I think. For the Kings, it was like you had that aura of like, oh shit, they can't solve Korpisalo. They've solved Korpisalo. Like...
And yeah, and for the first couple of games too, like, we're really limiting McDavid, and then nope.
Yeah,
Oilers need. Of course, I wanted them to advance the whole time. The longer I get to watch McDavid play, the better.
Yeah, I think similar to the Jets, the Kings had their window of opportunity and they missed it. So up to the Oilers to close out the series, but yeah, you kind of back them to do it. And speaking of closing out a series, our final series to talk about, the Florida Panthers and the Boston Bruins. Let's just get a good stretch in here before talking about this one. Panthers win Game 5, 4-3 in overtime in Boston. A game in which they never trailed. It was 1-0, then 1-1, then 2-1, then 2-2. It was a 3-point night for Carter Verhaeghe. Sergei Bobrovsky stopped 44 of 47.
He's back on the case. He's back on the case.
I mean, they got finally starting to earn some of that money. I was kind of shocked that they're going with him in that game. I guess the reasoning made sense. The veteran for the elimination game and stuff like that. I didn't think he'd play that good. To his credit, he played good. I don't think he was great in that game. The Bruins on their best scoring chances just flat out fucking whiffed.
Yeah, I
hate to say it, but they could not hit the net, and it seemed like every time the Florida got a primetime scoring chance, they put it in, even if it was a shit shot. And a couple of those.
I mean, like that Taylor Hall turnaround floater kind of showed, like, okay, it's not like Bobrovsky's having this unbeatable game.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to focus more on the Bruins. 2-point nights for McAvoy and Brad Marchand. This loss could have been avoided in a lot of different ways. I mentioned earlier that the Bruins very much did not fucking start on time. As a result, you had Jim Montgomery shuffling the lines as much as possible. Brad Marchand had a chance to end this game in regulation on the breakaway in the dying seconds, and Bobrovsky stopped it. We go to overtime, and Linus, whatever you prefer, goes out of his net to play the puck behind it. To his right is a Bruin and a Panther. To his left is fucking nobody. And he tried reversing it to the right. It gets stopped. It ends up in front. And Matthew Tkachuk scores the winner. 21 saves on 25 shots for Allmark. The game-deciding mistake in overtime. It does raise the question of Swayman. I don't think we'll see him in Game 6, but a lot of people are asking about it. But I think the way as you would have expected, Jim Montgomery, Patrice Bergeron, who was back for this game, scored a goal as well. The way they defended him with their post-game comments, Allmark will be back for Game 6. Yeah. This series should not have gone 6. Holy shit. And look, I rarely post in the r/Boston Bruins on Reddit. I caught some flack for saying that, hey, this series should have been a sweep. And some people are like, there's no such thing as should have. No, this series should have been a fucking sweep. Say what you want about, they fucking blew it in Game 2. And then they blew it again last night. Game 2 was that game where Sin is texting me being like, what the fuck's going on with their breakout passes? Because they were just sending grenades all throughout their own zone. Yeah, it was the worst game of the season. And this game, honestly, wasn't that far off. They were, again, playing from behind the whole way through. They lose this game, I have Panthers in 7. Because for whatever reason, while they have had 2 series victories since the 2019 loss in the Cup final to St. Louis, that was Game 7 on home ice. Do you guys recall the score of that game?
4-0, right?
4-0. They did not fucking show up. The second they scored, St. Louis that is, at the end of the first period, they were already up 1-0. And then with 8 seconds to go, Alex Pietrangelo scored as Brad Marchand gave up on the shift and headed to the bench. And they were flat. Actually, it was 4-1, I should say. Matt Grzelcyk did score late in that game. Everyone forgets about that, myself included. They didn't fucking show up in that game. The bottom line is, for the team that set the record for the best regular season of all time, yeah, you're allowed to have a couple of mistakes. They should have won Game 2. They should have. There is no excuse for getting blown out except for shooting yourselves in the foot the entire game, which they did. Last night, there is no excuse for the best regular season of all time to start out that flat. Like a fucking December Toronto game. And I only say that not to take shots at the Leafs, but Endo, you know it. Lord knows I've seen it. it's been 5+ years, if not longer, of Steve Dangle reviews of, well, fuck, they didn't start on time again. You don't expect that from the Bruins in this situation. And much like we said earlier about giving a team life, Matthew Tkachuk scores the overtime winner. He's having the time of his fucking life because he knows he can just keep kind of chipping away. You talk about the pressure that the Leafs will be under if they lose Game 5 tonight at home for Game 6 in Tampa and then potentially a Game 7 back in Toronto. The Boston Bruins have to go down to Florida where, yes, they won both games so far, but you have the pressure of trying to continue on as the best regular season team of all time. You lose this Game 6. You go back home for Game 7, where you choked in Game 5, where you choked in 2019, Game 7. Like, there isn't this aura about TD Garden like there was in the aftermath of the 2011 Cup Final, where they dummied Vancouver every time they played there. There isn't the aura that existed after 10 years ago, where they came from behind to beat the Leafs. That aura of like, oh, it's Boston, they'll find a way. That doesn't exist anymore. There's this nervous anxiousness that you can get from that team when they get in that situation of, okay, we're at home and we have to clinch. Fuck. They have to win this series in 6, or I do have Florida in 7. And I hope to be proven wrong. But Jesus Christ, like, what a brutal loss this was that honestly just can't happen when, again, like Sin mentioned earlier, you have a chance to put your foot down and end this series, and they didn't do it. I feel better. I don't, because we should have been talking about how they are the first team to punch their ticket. That's right. Yeah. I said should have. Should. All caps. Maybe that'll be the fucking episode title. Fucking should.
They should have. It's 100%. Like, the stretches where they outplayed Florida in that game were so incredible. And you could just almost feel that, like, because I think the announcers at one point said, like, oh, the last 21 shot attempts have gone in favor of the Boston Bruins. And you're like, oh, Florida's 100% scoring next. And then legitimately a couple minutes later, Bruins fail to clear the puck out of their own end about 3 different times. And it goes to the high slot for, I don't know if that was the Bennett goal or the Reinhart goal, but he just floats it at the net and Ullmark flat out misses it. It may have hit a defender in front, but it's a soft fucking goal caused by a soft-ass turnover by a team that was playing way too soft in their own end, who were playing the complete opposite in the other end when they started forechecking and keeping it in and sustaining pressure. But then all their grade A scoring chances, muffins or whiffs. What's up with Pasternak, by the way? Is he a one-trick pony? I'm getting a little afraid that man only posts up for one-timers and is fucking healing them all.
Honestly, no. In the regular season, like, the one-timer is a great tool for him, but that's not how he's not. I don't even want to say Ovechkin-esque because it's not like Ovechkin only scores that way too. But no, like, he honestly has had moments of like a younger Ovi of just dangling through the entire fucking team and scoring 6 goals. He has 2 goals in 5 games. Those are his only 2 points.
Nice.
Not good enough.
He has fewer points than Nick Foligno, Pavel Zacha, Tyler Bertuzzi, Taylor Hall. Yeah, he hasn't been good enough. Flat out. Yeah. Flat out. I mean, especially too, like, he has the same amount of points as Charlie Coyle, but Charlie Coyle, as a center, big minute eater, defensive zone faceoff guy as well at times. Like, Tomas Nosek has as many points as David Pasternak in the series. That is not good enough. It's just not.
I'm also confused why they scratched Frederick.
Yeah, I mean, somebody had to come out of the lineup last night for Bergeron to make it in.
Scratched Lauko, to be honest, but
yeah, that's kind of been the debate. Lauko has played some very, very good hockey for the Bruins this year. He did take a penalty in Game 5 that led to a power play goal, so that was fun in the third period. To give
Literally
Florida...
right after the goal. To be fair, though, that penalty was fucking borderline. But
it was
like right after the Bruins scored a power play goal.
6 seconds after the Bruins scored. Truth Bergeron on the power play. They gave Florida a power play and they scored. Bruins had the game tied for less than a minute.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We said at the start of this that Florida could do it. Of course they could. Those Tampa fears for me haven't gone away. Even at 3-1, they did not go away. And they have to win game. What the hell's happened where Leafs fans are up 3-1 and feeling confident, and as a Bruins fan, after losing Game 5, going Game 6 on the road, I'm sitting here dreading Game 7. The timelines have diverged. We are living in an alternate reality now, and I gotta be honest, I don't like it very much.
Yep.
But we'll see what happens. They have, I can't really say they dug a hole for themselves. They're still up 3-2 in the series, but they've dug a hole for themselves. This series should have been over by now. They had the chance to do it, and they blew it. We'll see what happens in Game 6. With that, gentlemen, let's wind it down for today because there is some hockey on very, very soon. Leafs in 5, baby. Leafs in 5.
Yeah.
And the NFL draft.
I'm going to go enjoy the Marlies. Marlies in, was it 3? Yeah, because the second rounds of the AHL, it's best of 3. Well, best of 5. First of 3. And then it's 7 after that. Yeah, so. Yeah, Marlies in 3. I'll be at Game 1 and 2, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. Sam, what do you got going on?
Nothing.
Cool.
Gonna watch some playoffs. Gonna play some games.
There you go. That is the way. Enjoy the hockey, everybody, and I hope by the time we see you on Monday. Holy shit! Let's look at the schedule really quickly.
Yeah, you guys are busy as hell.
Friday: Hurricanes, Islanders, Bruins, Panthers, Stars, Wild, Kraken, Avalanche. Saturday: Devils, Rangers, Oilers, Kings, Jets, Knights, Leafs, Lightning. Game 6 if necessary. We will know by Monday. Because Sunday, if necessary, would be Seattle, Colorado, Minnesota, Dallas, Florida, Boston, and Islanders, Hurricanes, Game 7s. And then the alternate for their Game 7s would be on that Monday, if necessary. So, gentlemen, out of Winnipeg, Vegas, Edmonton, LA, Tampa, Toronto, New Jersey, New York, are we talking about a Game 7 on Monday's show for that night after the podcast?
Maybe New Jersey, New York.
Yeah, I can see that.
Fair enough. And if God help Leafs fans if we're talking about Leafs Lightning.
I'm still with the thing. I wanted the Lightning initially to win because of the memes, but I did think Toronto was going to win, going back to our old prediction things of that regard. I really hope they do it, because if they fuck this up again, yeah, like Tougie said, fold the franchise.
There you go. With that, everybody, we will see you on Monday. For the love of God, Boston, don't lose to Florida, please. Just
losing to Florida, you're losing.
Lose to Toronto, because that'd be kind of funny in some ways. I can even admit that as a Bruins fan. Do not lose to the. You know, it's my fault. I'll fess up. It's my fault. I did it. You know why they lost Game 5? Because I had a drafted tweet. It's my fault.
Oh,
and
no.
I said, Jesus saves, Bobrovsky doesn't. I hope the Stalls have fun golfing. It's my fault because I had a drafted tweet.
Oh, no.
I admit it.
Keep it in drafts.
Well, I have to unless they fucking win Game 6 or 7. Fuck.